Hi everyone, this is Clara with Card Stamping with Clara, back with another set of cards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator if you haven't joined me before, and I'm glad to have you along, and I hope you'll find something that's interesting and be helpful to you as well. A little bit of business first. I have a host code. If you would please, if you ever need to purchase something, if you would just use that, I'd appreciate it. Unless you purchase up to $150 before shipping and handling. And then if you do, remember, Stampin' Up! Will give you $15 worth of product from the catalog. So you don't want to miss out on that. And with a purchase of $50, you get a $10 gift from me. So that would be from the catalog too, something of your choice. The other thing I'd like to mention to you is, if you would please push the subscribe button. That really helps me, and it lets you know when I have another video up. Also, this is Celebration at Stampin' Up! And you can get some free products when you purchase $50 or $100 worth of products. There's a celebration catalog on my website. You can take a look and see what's available that you could choose from if you needed to purchase something. You certainly don't want to miss out on that. And it's a good time to join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. If you just want to save some money, you can save 20 to 25% if you're a demonstrator, and get $125 worth of merchandise for $99. You can get a free bundle worth $40 to $60. One of 12 that you can choose from. That's both the stamp set and the die that comes with it. So just letting you know what's going on. It's just available this month. 1 month of celebration is gone, and this is the month that everything will come to an end. So I just wanted to be vigilant about letting you know. Otherwise, we will get to making cards here, and if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them on my website, and I will check all comments. And if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, let's get to it here today. This is the card we're going to make. It's a Christmas card, and I borrowed a little bit from this and a little bit from that to make this one, as you will see. But I like the little birds that came from the Beauty of Friendship bundle. They're just so easy to cut out with a die. You don't even have to stamp them, and I'll show you where I got the birdhouse from and what have you in just a second. It just says Merry Christmas on the outside, and I stamped May You Enjoy the Peace of the Beautiful Season on the inside. So I'll tell you how I made this one, and we'll make this one here in just a second. I'll show you the products that I used, and you certainly can choose other products if you like, or leave some of these out. These are just ideas. They're not trying to get you to make anything elaborate. It's just a matter of showing you what's available and see if you can find something that you might like. The main focus today is going to be on this Sparkle of the Season stamp set and the dies that go with it. It says, "Thankful for you, Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, may the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home." It's got a big grateful on it. This circular thing, as you can see, and I have used it in the past. I don't know if I used it on any of these cards today or not, but there's some little snowflakes, some bats, some stars, some leaves, fall leaves, a pine sprig, a little berry branch of some sort, some fall leaves, some green leaves, some holly leaves, and a little pine cone. So it's to cover a lot of seasons is the intent. It's a photopolymer set, and I got mine coming off here, but as you can see, I've been using them diligently here. And I have enjoyed this set. I've used it a lot on a lot of different things besides just focusing on it like I'm doing today. The dies that come with it, if you purchase it as a bundle, you save 10%. So that's the reason I say that. Seasonal swirl die, as they're called. And I had a couple of little pieces of magnetic strips here left, and I put these on just so they don't get jumbled up. But anyway, you get 3 different wreaths. One's got stars, one's got fall leaves like maples. You've got this that cuts out that greenery there in the front, and some little leaves. These are for holly berries. Over here, this is the wreath that I used today. It's the wintertime, looks like holly and what have you. This is the piece that cuts out the stamped holly. And today I found my bat. It was between these two. And a little pumpkin, and I don't know exactly what this is intended to be, but it made one of my wreaths look pretty, so I used that. And this is for the pine. Excuse me, this one's for the pine. And I guess this one is for some leaves. So as you can see, this set has got a lot in it. And you can use it for lots of different seasons. Okay, I'm going to, I'll mention where some of the other things came from. And we'll talk about that as we go through and make the card. But I'm going to show you these other cards that I made. This is the one using the stars. And I used some of this bedazzling paper that's available for free with a $50 purchase. And made the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. This paper, this background paper that I have came from the Whimsy and Wonder 12 by 12 pack. And there's some real pretty ornaments on the back of this, but I wanted something that looked like a sky. So I also cut out some little stars and things to add a little extra touch to it. And just a big old Merry Christmas in the inside, and that did come from this Sparkle of the Season stamp set. Well, folks, Halloween will be here before you know it. And I put those little bats to work. This is Mossy Meadow, is the color in the background. And I use these the tree that, in the Beauty of the Beauty of Friendship stamp set, this has got leaves and things that go over this bare kind of tree. But I thought for Halloween, just the bare tree looked good. Put some leaves on it. And this is So Saffron is the color. Happy Halloween. And it just looked kind of spooky to me. So I just stamped some little leaves on the inside. And you can send it to a granddaughter or grandson, or, you know, whoever you might want to wish a happy Halloween to. This one, this paper is from the Painted Christmas pack, and the border is the Evening Evergreen, and the Merry Christmas is an Evening Evergreen. And it's very, very simple, as you can see. I use the seasonal labels die to cut out this one and this. And I embossed some white dots, because this had dots all through it, just to kind of add something to this label. And I put some gems on there. I'm going to tilt it back and forth a little bit, and maybe you can see them shining. It kind of added a little sparkle to this one, I thought. May you enjoy the peace of the beautiful season, I put on that one. And, of course, the Merry Christmas came from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set, as did this Merry Christmas. This one, I used the Peaceful Cabins stamps of pine trees. And I put it on, I believe this is smoky slate, and I just sort of stamped it a little darker in the front and lighter as it went back, like it was a real snowy day. And these are the snow flakes that are in the set, the Sparkle of the Season set. And I just embossed them on top of those trees just to make it look like, snow was really coming down. It's almost like a blizzard. So that's what I used for that one. This is also Evening Evergreen. And now to the fall cards, other than the Halloween card. This is So Saffron on Cajun Craze. And I used the fall wreath for this. And these little things here is what I said. I don't know what it is, but I liked what it did in my wreath. I used the bedazzling to add some sparkle. I colored the leaves some and cut out some leaves. That was a sponged piece of cardstock that I had. This bow is a Cajun Craze that came out of a set somewhere that I had. It was a stash thing that I'd had for a while. Thankful for You, and just left it a note card, put a couple of little pine cones down in the corner, but I thought that one turned out pretty well for a fall card. This one says Grateful on it. It also has got Cajun Craze and the Evening Evergreen together. And here's where I did some stamping and some cutouts with the leaves. The leaves are out of Cajun Craze. These are stamped in Poppy Parade, I think it's called. And all these little pumpkins I had cut out, that came from this set as well with I just thought they were cute as they could be. So I thought, we just need a big stack of pumpkins here. So Grateful is your sentiment, and I put the leaf sprig on the inside. All right, down to the last one. This one, I decided that I was going to make it sparkle a little bit with some gold. So the basic wreath is in gold, and I put the gold foil around this Grateful sentiment, and I had cut out some of those sprigs with the dies, and these little flowers come out of that pretty pillow box. I'll probably end up using those more than the pillow box themselves, but I just love these little flowers, and put a little sentiment, a little gem in the middle of them. That is the champagne, basic champagne little gem. And then I tied a little bow out of the gold. We have gold and silver that comes together in a pack. And this is one of course, this is the gold. So the background is mossy meadow and pumpkin pie. And the inside, of course, is the very vanilla and the pumpkin pie. All right, that's a mouthful, but that kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing here today and what we hope to achieve. This is my packet for today of my goodies. And I cut out a couple of little birds extra because I thought they might get away from me. I don't need 4, but sometimes these small pieces take wings literally and fly away. So what I have here is a mess. It's turned upside down. Okay, we're going to start with the card base as I always do. And that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And as you can see, I've already used the one sheet of the Evening Evergreen and stamped it in Evening Evergreen. So I think that made a pretty sentiment for the inside. All right, we're just going to build the front now. I have already stamped a couple of these birdhouses, and that came from the Garden Birdhouse photopolymer set. I borrowed one of the little birdhouses from that. And I did stamp this in the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and you want to be sure and do that because when you're using blends like I am going to do today, that's the proper ink to use so that it doesn't smudge or run or what have you. So I've got the real red, the dark real red, I've got the light smoky slate, and I've got black. And I'll talk about that in just a second when I start to color those. I've also got a second sheet of Evening Evergreen that is cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4. That's to go as a border on the outside of the card base. This is the DSP, or the Designer Series paper. You can see what's on the back of it, but today we're using the stripe, and it is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. I have got a circular piece that is the soft succulent, and it is using the 3rd largest smooth die, and it will, when you get the die cut, get the circle cut out with the die, it will be 2 3/8 inches. So that way you'll know that you've got the right one. And this is the set of layering circle dies that I took that from. And I have cut out 2 of these wreaths just because I like for it to look a little bit fuller. And I just offset them a tiny bit. You don't have to do that. You could certainly use 1. And you can't cut 2 of these out of a sheet or out of a 1/4 of a sheet. Let me put it that way. 2 of these cannot be cut out from this. I tried. So what you need is, before you cut a 1/4 sheet, you can just lay 2 down and cut them from a larger piece, and then you can lay them close and not waste your paper that way. Okay, and I have also embossed the Merry Christmas and cut it out with one of the seasonal label dies, and that is this set. So it's that long one that I've used. And the little birds are cut. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I love this little die already. See that little, it cuts 2 little birds out at one time. You can make bluebirds, you can make red birds, you can make yellow birds, whatever you want. And that comes from the Beautiful Tree dies. And that was that set where I took the bear tree on the Happy Halloween. And the only other thing I've got are some tiny, tiny little berries. And they don't have to be this small. I just had a punch, let me show you. This little punch, this is just one that I had that I bought sometime, and it was in my stash, and it cuts out these tiny little things. If you got something, you can cut your berries, you can use something that's larger, whatever you choose. That's cut out of the real red, but I went ahead and put them in this so they wouldn't get lost. All right, let's start putting this card, or getting it prepared the rest of the way to get it together. Let's see if I haven't lost my scissors. Oh, here they are. They got pushed back. I thought I had laid them out. All right, let's go ahead and color one of these birdhouses. And the only reason I stamp 2 is because sometimes you bobble and you just might need an extra one if you mess one up. So if I can get this off, goodness. There we go. All right, I'm just going to color a little bit down through here. I thought this red looked really pretty for the season. It doesn't take but just a minute to do this. But if you haven't used these blends before, they come in real handy for little projects like this. All right, there's the side. I'm going to leave the front white. And I am going to tell you this. Sometimes your little opening for the birdhouse doesn't stamp as dark as you might like it. And you might just make it a little darker, and it gives it a three-dimensional look, as if you were, you could see into the little birdhouse. And I'm going to color these little strips black as well, and we'll put gray on the rest of it. All right, this is the light smoky slate. Whoops. And all it does is just gives it, a little different, a little depth and what have you. I made that completely dark on that side. I don't believe I did on over here, but that's okay. That'll work out just fine anyway. Will not matter. Now, I did fussy cut. This is called fussy cutting. And all in the world it is. It's just cutting out a piece of an image. And as you're going to see, it doesn't take but just a second to do this either. I will say this, when you're fussy cutting, cut some of the extra paper away to start with. It makes it a little easier. And then you can get in these little nooks and crannies without too much trouble. Okay. And if you have a white edge or something like that, you can always use one of the blends to touch it up a little bit. But this is not a hard process at all. Okay. All right, that's done. I will take that smoky slate and color this one little piece here in the middle. That's not smoky slate, that's black. Silly me. Okay, there we go. Just in the interest of making it look similar. All right. Now then, we can start gluing everything together. The first thing I'm going to do is glue the DSP, Designer Series paper. There again, I keep saying that because it took me so long to figure out what DSP was. I mean, I guess I'm a little slow, but DSP is Designer Series paper, and it's just, I guess, an acronym for that. Put a little bit of glue. I use the glue instead of the tape runners for this sort of thing because I can slip it a little bit, and I don't always get it on perfect to start with. So, let's see. I have to hold things up where I can get a bird's eye view. Let's call it that, a bird's eye view today. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on this little circle. And all in the world this circle does is it gives it a background to put your bird house against. All right. We do want to make some effort to get this in the center or as close as you can. And you know, I found that eyeballing it is the best way to do this. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll use my tweezers and we'll put a couple of those wreaths on. I'm using my reverse tweezers as I do with almost every project. And I am just going to dot, literally, a little bit here and there to make sure it'll, you know, that it'll stay in place and what have you, but I don't want too much glue on this because it could get real gunky. I'll just put a little bit. All right. At what I will call important places. Okay, I'm going to hold this up. You can do this any way you want to, but I want to get it lined up as best I can without smudging glue everywhere. Okay. All right. Now, this is what it looks like if you use one. And that's okay. You know, you don't have to use two. Like I said, I just thought a little extra was better in this case. That's just my personal preference. I can't stress enough that when you're making things, they should be yours. The idea is just to give you, to help you, you know, get your creative juices going, as somebody might say. Okay. All right. Now, like I said, I'm just offsetting this a tiny little bit because it wouldn't do any good if the extra foliage would not do any good if I glued it right on top of the other one in the same spot. It would just look thicker. So, okay. That one right there is not glued down real tight, but it's okay. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and I think position the birds. And like I said, I'm only going to put 2 birds on. You can put as many as you like, but I'm just going to put 2. And the nice thing about these little birds is one's turned one way, one's turned the other, so it makes for a nice effect. And I'm going to position them near my holly where I'm going to put some berries. Probably the slowest thing about this is putting the berries on. But we'll get that done. All right, one little bird. But this thing does make a cute little bird. And the only reason that I use that little punch is because the birds were so small, you don't want the berry to be half the size of the bird. So I had to sort of be mindful of that. Okay, put one up there, put one down here. And I probably should have, tell you the truth, I probably should have put my birdhouse in there to start with. I was getting ahead of myself a little bit. But we'll go ahead and put it in now. I think I'll still be all right. I've got room. The only thing is you want it to slide up under a couple of pieces. Let me use my hands maybe for this one. So I hope I can without getting glue all everywhere. Okay. Just push it up high enough that it will go under some greenery, or either put your birdhouse in first and then put your greenery around it. I believe that's the way I did the other one now. But I got away with it, so yay. Let me make sure that that's, yeah, that birdhouse is like it's supposed to be. I'm going to get a baby wipe here because, as usual, I've got a little glue on my fingers now, but that's all right. We'll take care of it. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and put some of these little berries on. And the way I did it, because my little berries are so small, I dumped them out. And I'm going to put a tiny little bit of glue. I hope you can see that. A tiny little bit of glue Well, they're bouncing, see, on this paper. And I don't need much. And I'm going to use this as a way to put just a tiny little dab over here. Because I knew that if I started squirting out glue over here, what's going to happen is I'll have a blob like this, and it'll look like my berries are floating in a sea of glue. All right, there's one. Two. I put them in threes or more. I think I put a few more down here at the bottom here. So let's put about 5 down here. Odd numbers seem to work pretty good. Whoops. And I think a berry bigger than this would work fine, but this is what I had. And as I've encouraged you before, just use something that will work. Okay. Now those we're going to make a little different. All right, we're going to go up to, let's see. Let's go up to about right here. Because you want your berries kind of spaced, you know, and four different clusters would be good. Looks like right there was a little holly leaf. You can just about touch these and they will ride over for you, especially if you get a tiny little bit of glue on your tweezers. It doesn't take much. Okay, there's 3 little berries, and that adds a little bit of color. Then I'm going to turn it this way so I can get to this side, and I might decide to add a few more berries, I don't know. All right, there's 1. 2. You'd think I was learning to count. We do this with the grandson a lot, and I guess I've gotten a habit of it. Teaching him to count and what have you. He's 4.5, and well, I say 4.5, but you know, he's getting closer to 5 all the time. He'll be 5 in December. He's our youngest little buddy. We have, believe it or not, 4 grandsons and just 1 granddaughter. And interestingly enough, my husband and I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. So women are, well, that one does not want to stay. Let me get another one. The female gender is a little bit scarce in this family. All right, come on, Barry. Quit giving me a hard time. Okay. I think what's happened is I got a tiny little bit of glue on this. We only got 1 more little spot to go, so we almost got it. All right. This little bird said it was hungry too. So, we definitely going to feed it. There now. They grow up so fast. Our oldest grandson is going to be 18 in January, which just blows my mind. And the fact of the matter is, we didn't start early having babies. And, and his parents didn't either. So it's just shocking that this time has passed and we've got one almost ready to go to college, and it seems like, our kids just got out of college. How could this possibly be? Well, those first ones were going so good. What happened here? All right, let's try this. I think what I'm doing is they're sticking to my finger. All right, little berry, you belong over here. That birdie's hungry. All right. This is going to be a cluster of berries. We'll put one up there on top too. Okay. All right, let's see what that looks like. We'll let that dry a bit. That's okay. All right. Now then, let's take this sentiment over here that if you need a little refresher course with the embossing, all in the world you need to do is take what is called a embossing buddy, and it looks like a little pillow that's got powder in it. I'll show you here in a second for anybody that will just show you quickly, because maybe most people will know what an embossing buddy is, but somebody might not. I think it's important for people that don't know that, we kind of help them along, because we didn't know one time too. All right, there we go. Okay, this is an embossing buddy. This little thing right there. And this one's pretty well worn. And all in the world you do, it's got powder in it. You take this, you rub it across your cardstock like that. Then you take Versamark, which is this, and it's like a sticky ink, and put it on your stamp, whatever your stamp is. And you stamp your sentiment like Merry Christmas. And then you take a heat gun. After you get your Merry Christmas stamped, sprinkle it. Let me back up. I'm about to, there again, get ahead of myself. This is what this is. This is a little jar that had embossing powder in it. This is the way it comes. It comes in these little containers. So you sprinkle it. And then you take your cardstock and you thump it, get the excess off, blow it a couple of times. Then you take the little heat gun and hold it, and it melts that. So that's all there is to powder embossing. So I just wanted you to, you can go back and watch me in one of the other videos that's got embossing in it if you want it kind of step by step. But it's easy, it's fast, and it adds a nice touch. Especially, I like to use it on dark cardstock like this because it shows up so pretty. I'm cleaning off the tube of glue here. All right. Let's put this on the front, and we're going to have a Christmas card. Okay, if you followed me all the way through, I appreciate it. Hope this has helped you. This can be used, these little birds can be used for another project. So, I think we're good. And as you remember, the inside's already done. That I do that just to save time. So, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your time. I appreciate any time you stop by and watch a video. Looks like I've got those crooked maybe. If you haven't pushed the subscribe button, I sure appreciate it if you would. And all those particulars about the host code and the celebration and all that stuff is at the front of the video, so you can get to it if you need to refresh your memory about that. I'm not going to go over that again. I don't want to, bore you to death with that, but you do need to know. So, like I said, if I can be of any help, I really appreciate it, and that ought to take care of it for this time. And you all have a nice weekend and a nice evening and what have you, and I will be back real soon. Thank you very much.